Welcome. Chris here with the trades. Chris here with the trades. Going to go over 9 tickers, 9 stocks. Looking at here for the week ahead. These are going to be 9 pretty big, sort of like blue chip high flyers. 9 big boys that we're looking at here for the week ahead for bounce trades. Actually, these are stocks that are looking real good for swing trades long. What we're looking at here is the market. Obviously, there's been a big sell-off last few days here in the market, and I got these lines marked out here. These are potential buy points if the market wants to completely fall apart, where I'd be looking to add into my position here on the market for moves back up. But looking at 9 tickers that meet my criteria. The first one on the list, these are 9 high flyers that look good for the week ahead. First one on the list is NVDA. NVIDIA is looking real good for me. What I'm looking here for are stocks that look good for long-term holds, look good with fundamentals. Fundamentals look strong, so these are stocks that I'd like to buy and hold long-term potentially. However, these are trades. I'm looking for trading opportunities with these particular stocks that fit that first criteria. Then I'm turning to the chart, of course. Now, I'm looking for a pullback. And I'm looking for an entry point. So NVIDIA meets my criteria. Of course, it's a strong stock. It has definitely pulled back. I entered here on a buy to add to my position, and you can see these lines all throughout this chart. These are all trades that I've taken on NVIDIA, buying, for example, buying here, selling up here, buying, selling, buying, holding all through this, then selling up into the push. So NVIDIA is one that meets my criteria. So I'm looking for an entry, a buy point. I'm looking at the stochastic down nice and low here at the bottom. This would indicate that it's oversold, of course. And then I'm looking for it to come down into a natural level of support, which it did. It broke slightly this natural level of support, which is sort of designated by this green shaded area where the price is tracking above. But it did bounce and move back up a bit. So I'm looking to see if this thing wants to keep moving up. Of course, if it wants to break down and break this level and come down, I'm probably not as interested in this. But I'm looking for on a lot of these. I'm looking for a move, a pretty quick move off these levels. A lot of these that you're going to see are stocks that on the chart at least have pulled back, found some support, and are either about to bounce, you would think, or have bounced, and we're looking for a continuation. So here on the video, the profit looking like I'm looking for some moves up here into this range here, 6-7%, of course, up into these highs where NVIDIA popped and then, of course, dropped on earnings, 9.5%, and of course, up into this level here for the greedy target, 16-17%. I'd be a buyer into about this range here, give it about 4 or so percent. If it gaps down on the open on Monday, probably not interested in that, but wait and see on all of these how we open up on Monday. Next one, another one of my favorites to trade, and I've been trading it a lot, as you can see through these markings. These are all buys and sells. Took a buy here on this drop. It pushed back up, holding plenty of Broadcom. I love this one, but it did find some support and bounced here on Friday. So stochastic is in the lower area. I'd like to see it a little lower than that. I would have liked to have gotten in here perhaps on last Friday. Would have been a nice buy point for the move back up. But this is still in play for me, and I love this stock as a trade. So I'm going to be a buyer into this 3-4% range, looking for the move back up into this range here, 7 or so percent, 8-9%, and then of course greedy target up into this 13-14%. So Broadcom definitely meets the criteria. Of course, we do have this gap that technically hasn't been filled, so that's a risk, but I'd probably still be a buyer really into this range, into this gap, small. I'm looking for the move to come back and start moving up pretty quick here on this one and a lot of these. But because I like this one so much, I'd probably give it a lot of extra room on the risk. But that's just because it's Broadcom and it's just a high flyer. Next, also looking at Bank of America. Bank of America is a strong stock. It's been pushing up, found some support, stochastic at the bottom of the band there. This meets my criteria for a potential buy. Risk-wise, going to give it to about this range here. Probably actually take it down a little further, maybe into these wicks back here. So into this range, 4.5%. Looking for the move back up. Looking to see if it wants to see. It did find some support and bounce. See if it wants to have a flat open on Monday and then move up pretty quick would be my ideal situation. The chart's a little deceiving. It's not a huge range like it might look. So, 4 or 5% is probably all I'm really looking for on this one, just because Bank of America doesn't really move a whole lot. But that's just the way it is. Next one on the list is Taiwan Semiconductor. Okay, so this one, of course, like all the semiconductors, has moved up a lot lately. It's a strong stock. Probably heard of it, of course. Finding some support here on Friday, wicking and pushing back up. Technically hasn't broken this level. See where it opens on Monday. Of course, if it breaks below this wick, I'm probably not interested. But if it's somewhere flat and reasonable, I'd probably be getting in to about down to about here, 2 or 3%, looking for to capture the move back up. 5% would be the first profit target up into this range as well. 9, 10, greedy target up into these all-time highs, of course. So Taiwan Semiconductor definitely makes the list here. Looking for a continuation on this one. Another big boy, State Street. They own everything. Uh, Super strong of late. You got this crazy candle back here, but finding some support and moving back up. Looking to see where it opens on Monday. I'm going to be a buyer into this range here, about 3 or so%. Certainly not going to take it down into this range. That's a little far for me to really mess with it. But if it opens at a reasonable spot here on Monday, I'll be a buyer into this range, like I say, looking to capture the move up into this range here, 2 or 3%, and then see if it wants to keep running from there. 7, 8% on State Street could be a good opportunity on that one. Also, looking at this BK, this one I really like. Looks like I got a buyback here. I'm still in on this one. Stochastic has pulled back nice and low. As we see, every time it's done that, it's moved back up. So I like this one. I like BK for sure. I'm going to be a buyer into this range. I'm going to probably give it down to about here. It's about 3 or 4%. That's really not that bad. I'm happy to do that. I'm hoping to see a quick move, a quick turnaround, a bounce off of this natural level of support and push back up into this range here, 4% or so. Greedy target up into the 7 or so% as well on BK. Also, looking at Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, another big name here. Stochastic has dropped, has bounced. That's what we see on the chart as well. A move down, finding this level of support, wicking and pushing back up. Looking for a continuation on Monday and into the week ahead. I'm going to be a buyer into about this range here, 3, 4%, but looking to take it up into these highs here, 4%, up to about 6 or so%. And then, of course, what I like to do is hold a little, even if it goes my way, and see if it wants to keep running. Just to leave a runner on, a share or 2, 3, whatever your size dictates. But definitely try to hold some to see if it wants to move on something like this. And finally, less of a known stock, this Vertiv, which I really like a lot. I think this is a great company. Pays a dividend. It's really nice. See where we open on Monday, of course, but I like this wick. Finding some support off of these candles here, these highs back here. Even you might even say back into this level back here where it hit highs, and then it came down and popped right back up. So see where we open on Monday. I'm going to give it at least down into this wick, which is wide, 7%, but that's just what the chart dictates. I'm going to give it to about there. I'm looking for the move back up. I like this one because it does move a lot. I'd be looking to take some profits up into the 10% range, pushing up into 18 or 19%. I could even see a 20% move relatively quickly on this one. And of course, I'd like to see if it wants to come up into all-time highs, 26%. Not bad. So I like this one. It's moving in the right direction. Like a lot of these, the market's, very, very crazy. It's volatile up and down. It could break and just wash out like all of these and the stocks. And then if it does that, the move is off. It's just not something I'm interested. I'm looking for a continuation essentially here, pretty quick off the jump at the week ahead. So see where we are, see where we open on Monday, see if these stocks are in play. That's what I'm looking at. Happy trading.